Hi, my name is Rielly Stares. I'm a mystical feng shui practitioner and decorator for my company, Mystic Taxi, and this is a feng shui reading of 338 Princess Street in Kingston, Ontario. For decades, this space was occupied by the amazing secondhand retail shop What'll I Wear, which is still a great secondhand clothing store and is now located up at 732 Princess Street near Daft Brewery and Action Comics. Way before it was What'll I Wear, 338 Princess Street was an art store called Gartland's, which, according to an article I found, sold prints of things like the Murney Tower. Most recently, this space has housed a vape shop called the Fat Panda and was planned to be a gay bar called Club 338, though it didn't open, and it was named after the legendary old gay bar Club 477, which was at 477 Princess Street, and which was an awesome gay bar when I was younger. I came across this empty storefront the other day, and I had a conversation with the proprietor of the fine sunglasses and electronics establishment next door called Perfect Accessories, and he told me the storefront is for lease by the owner. When it was What'll I Wear, it was proven that there was a lot of merchandise that could fit into this little room. This is a stone building with what looks like a vinyl wood flooring, and there's a vinyl wrap on the right wall from the Fat Panda, a black stone rear wall with a framed corkboard. There's a white wall on the left side. There is a back door that goes onto a rear parking lot, which is behind the fire station. The best feature of this place is the beautiful front deep bay window with a section of upper windows across the top of the storefront, which currently has a banner, a vinyl banner from the Fat Panda installed behind the glass. In front of the door is a stone step with a beautiful inlaid stone two-tone black and gold star that seems to have been here for many years. The door and outside brick are painted black. The window is framed with metal painted black. The ceiling inside is an industrial ceiling that has also been painted black for the most part. This building wants to have a fire signature and also wants to have a very strong water expression and a strong wood expression. These are very classic and potentially very exciting combinations. So I chose some fire colors here and tried to find solutions to minimize stone and earth energy and open up the water and wood. Because this is a stone building with stone walls, lots of obvious metal, a very unique stone feature on the front step. In order to satisfy fire and water simultaneously, I would recommend making use of year-round plants in the storefront, especially on the stone in the front step, or taking measures to install a lot of wood on the storefront. I would go with evergreen on the front step so that it can be there in the wintertime. I would recommend removing the green vinyl from behind the window to create more light in the room, and also because the vinyl is a little bit watery, and to have visible water on the storefront itself is probably going to extinguish some of the fire. What you need is a lot of light in this room. You could even install spotlights in the front window or use them if there are already some there. You want a lot of lumens in the storefront and in the store itself. The store is a little bit dark for a fire space because of the black paint. What'll I Wear used blue paint that brings a lot of water into the space, but it also activates a lot of the metal. Like, it depends on who you are too. If you have a strong proprietor whose signature is just fine with a whole lot of metal and a whole lot of water, then it works out fine. But I'm just maximizing the space in general. I'm not maximizing it for any one person. So it would change depending on who the proprietor is. In order to create a fire feeling, I would start with white paint and paint everything that is inside that is now black white. I would use wooden shelves for the furnishings on the inside. I would go for a nice clean look on the inside with a lot of wood so that the energy is not obstructed even though there's a lot of stone. Painting the store white would immediately open up new possibilities and bring the store the light that it needs, as well as using greenery. It would be an option to install a wooden step over the stone tiles on the two stores and maybe put coffered wooden paneling on the front, where there is a stone facing on the front of the store. The height of the front window is beautiful. Remove that vinyl top, would show off this storefront really well, and the height is of fire quality. I would also make use of the air effect by using floating decals on the glass and hanging plants. I would put the lettering up high on the windows, and I would choose tall plants for the outside. I did a version of the storefront in white and in green and in pink, and you could also do red to match the neighbor's store, which would look like this. I would avoid putting a lot of fire colors on the inside for the most part. I would use white, with the exception of the back wall, because you want to imply water, and in order to imply water, you can't imply it directly. The only other option you have is to imply it using white, which is great, which is a nice effect. The back wall is a really good place for fire, so that's a good place to introduce overt fire references on the inside of the store. As you can see, the plants are a really good idea. It's imperative that this room has as many lumens as possible, which means a lot of light and the best light bulbs possible, meaning LED lights that throw a lot of lumens for not very much energy. The second most important spot in this retail location is the back wall. And this is the wall that really defines the business because it's the most memorable place besides the storefront itself. It's important to make this place a little bit special by using some brightly colored nature art, some red flowers, some plants, and lighting. So I would light the back wall as much as possible. I would create height in this room, lights up near the ceiling right against the wall, and that would light this whole wall. You could consider putting a feature wall here, but at the very least, I would put some brightly colored art and lighting. The stone wall in the back really helps, and having raw stone here would help. I would put a point of sale along the right hand side of the store. There are some stone pillars on the wall to the left, which are not pictured, but I would cover those with some kind of wood shelves, coffers, or paneling to bring wood to the wood area of the store, which is along the eastern wall. And you could also put wooden coffers and wooden shelves along this wall, which would be beautiful. The most important thing for a fire signature is for the place to communicate some kind of interesting story, which I've tried to do with this hypothetical little business called Himiko's Self-Help Bookstore and Resource Center, which makes me want to go right in there and meet the practitioner, who apparently is into all kinds of things. This place is really ultimately about wellness and turning over a new leaf, so it would lend itself to a self-help idea. Anyway, I'm really glad that I had a chance to think about this potential shop. I hope that the right owners and renters come to take over this little nook and turn it into a profitable business. If you have a property that you would like me to do a reading for, I'd be happy to do that. I charge $100 for on-demand feng shui reading. I also accept trade and barter. If you like this video, you could subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos all the time. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.